Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Nkositalkshows, where our coaches can help you get more from your life and create a concrete step to help you get there. Find your voice and be a great leader. My name is Nkositalkshows. I am the founder of Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Show. So today with me, I have one of my speakers. She's been with me over a year, which is Dr. Biget, and I have my speaker, Carol N. Cooper, and I'm going to let our special guest introduce themselves. Also, they can lay out their professional credentials, expertise. Over to you, Dr. Biget. Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Numsa. Thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be with you today. Good afternoon, where you are. Good morning here in the United States, and or good evening, depending on where you are. I am Bridget Tan, and I am a grief transformation and life success speaker, author, and coach. And my passion is in helping you and your loved one thrive even through tough times, and to be able to win with more ease and fun.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. Carol Ann, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yes, hello, and I really appreciate being on here. It's exciting. And, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And for me, it's just turned out it's afternoon here in the UK. And yes, I'm Carol Ann. And as the writing facilitator, what I do is I assist women in becoming more productive with their writing by helping them to connect with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of that writer within and getting their book written. Because as I say, you cannot publish what isn't written. So my background is actually in teaching. It started in mathematics. And I've had a long journey to actually unlocking the writer within myself. So that's where I come from now, in helping others to unlock that writer within them. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Carol Ann. Our topic today is how to live by your own principles. So, Dr. Bigot, if someone who is watching will be like, I don't know what you mean by living by your own principles, would you like to explain to our audience what do we mean by living by your own principles?
So everybody, as you said, might interpret that differently. And of course, many times in life, there is no one single interpretations to things. And it's not right or wrong either. Just that's why we have fingerprints. We are all unique. But for me, being able to live by my own principles is to be able to be true to who I am. To me, if you are living by your own principle, you listen to your heart and what your heart tells you, and not everybody else telling you. Because if you've been in this world long enough, I've been in this world, I suppose, long enough to be able to say, once upon a time it was what is that, it's good to eat a lot of carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates even. Everybody got to eat that. And then after time it says, oh, no, 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 no. You absolutely cannot eat carbohydrate at all, and you have to be on a strict protein only diet, like in the United States, it was the Atkins diet. And then you have to eat this way and that way. This is just one example. And while in truth, everybody know their own body know what is it best for them. Everyone's different. Some people are served very well with a lot of carbohydrate, and some, such as my mother, I myself don't do best if the majority of my diet's a carbohydrate. That's a diet, but also it's the same way with what is it that is calling through to your heart. I actually one of the things I do to help people with grief is I created something called Dance Away Sadness, Move Beyond Your Grief, which actually I have a free online sessions tomorrow. So you're welcome to check that out. But the in that I always let the participants know that there inside of us there is a music. There are African tribe who, when their babies are born, the prior to the babies are born, the elder women in the village actually kind of listen to the tune sort of that inspire them, and they almost created a song for this baby that is then going to be born. And when they do that, everybody has a different song, and they will sing this song as the baby being born. They will sing this song to the baby, and when the babies grow up, when they are when this child grow up, they'll sing this song, and then actually when they are doing well, they'll sing this song as an affirmation. And when the child or now an adult not doing what it is to their best self, they sing the song to them as if to remind them who they truly are, which is a beautiful being, we are all an image of this, our amazing, beautiful, limitless universe, all come in different form, just like physically we all look different. And so to me, to be true to yourself is to be able to listen to what it is your heart calling you and telling you, and to really be able to have to live with it, to love it, to embrace it, and to express it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Biget. I like it when you say we all have music in our head. We all have, it means we all have a different talent. And sometimes some people will expect you to do the things that they do, which is, it makes you basically, it will make you frustrated. It will make you get into depression if you are not true to yourself. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have a music in my head, and I know my music in my head. I don't know your music in your head, Dr. Biget, but I'm getting to know you, and I'm getting to understand you, and I'm sure there is more that I'm gonna get to see and I'm gonna get to embrace. So thank you so much. Carol Ann, what does it mean to you living by your own principles?
That's a good question. And for me, for someone who actually hated words and has always sort of struggled with them, I'm now enjoying actually exploring them. So I will look up what that word means to get a flavor of it, to get the feel of it. And what I realized is that actually, and it was there already within me, but it's just being able to put it into words, is that it's based on what you value, what is important to you. And once you can identify what's important to you, those values are then built on that. And for me, what's important is being able to express yourself, is being able to be given time to say what it is you've got to say, and to be listened to, not spoken over, not words put in your mouth with, oh, you mean this, or oh, you mean that. No, listened to. And then, okay, questioned if they're not sure as to their understanding of the word that you're using, so that there's a dance in the conversation. Because I always found, as I was growing up, that's what I hated about words, where I could never find what I wanted to say. And it was almost like people putting words in my mouth, and it was like, I used to get so frustrated because I couldn't explain what I wanted to say, but also I didn't seem to be given the time to find the words. I can find them a lot quicker now, but before it used to take me quite a long time to find the words, because I knew what I felt I wanted to say, or I'd have a picture in my head, which I still do, but now the words are coming much more quickly. So for me, that's a really key principle by which I live, and will give others the same, that time to explain something, for me to then listen and understand what is it they're truly saying, what is it they're communicating, and listen to their heart, because that's where the true communication comes from. So for me, that's basically what living by your principles is about.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol. You remind me of my 5-year-old daughter when she speaks. And then you say, can you repeat that again? She goes, I don't like it when someone doesn't listen to me. You didn't listen to me. And I'm like, yes, I did, but explain it. You need to explain it again. She's like, she's basically, the way you were explaining, she likes things to be explained properly, and she likes to be heard. Which is gonna be a challenge for me, because this is how I'm raising them, to say, okay, you can have your own argument. If you don't like my response to the outcome, you can argue and put your case forward. So thank you so much. I think it is very, very important for someone to be heard when someone is speaking. You have to listen to them. Some people always want their way. It's either my way or else. But it's a very, very important skill to be able to listen to somebody, and to be able to listen to your heart. When your heart speaks to you, listen to it. But do we listen to it? When your heart says, this is not what I want. I remember when I used to date the wrong guys, my heart used to speak to me and say, that's not what I want. And I would be like, I think things will change. Keep going and keep going. We don't listen to our head, like Carol Ann says. We have to listen to ourselves. And it's important also the meaning of the word, to actually understand it. When you are looking at the word, like what you're saying, to actually understand. I have tried to actually understand the word love. What does love mean? Because I work with the relationships. So for me to be able to help somebody, I have to understand, what does love mean? It means unconditional. You love unconditional. Even that person, when it's not perfect, they come to you with an attitude, you calm down and give them attention. Show them that that's not the way to speak to somebody, and you give them attention, you show them the way. So thank you so much. What is it? Why is it important to live by your principles, Dr. Biget?
Why is it important to live by your principles?
To live by principles, like right now, if you have principles in place, like for myself, I have this thing where I read the Bible, and I understand that if you want to be part of God, you have to live by his principles. So with you, for me to be able to be in your tribe, to qualify, to say I qualify to be Dr. like Nkositalkshows qualifies to be in your tribe. Why is it important to live by your principle, to live by principles?
Yeah, it is a guiding light. When you have a principles, it's to me that is a guiding light that will allow you to go back, to fall back to where it is. To a degree, it is your core value, what is important for you, and back to listening to your heart. Because we are all meant to be different, and we have different, different way of different things that's calling our heart, as well as different way to express our heart, and what is and there are different things that's important to us when we when we are able to live by our own principle, it's allow ourselves to be who we are, which is what really life want us to be. Life want us to be different, and and when we're not able to express ourselves, when we're not able to express what's it is in our heart and in our mind, then you become suppressed. And when you become suppressed, you mentioned this very briefly, Numsa. When you become suppressed, that's when you are not in alignment with yourself. If you are supposed to go in this one and somebody keep moving you to the other side, so to say, then it's you are not in alignment. And when you are not in alignment with yourself, over and over again, that's when this is happen, when you become uneasy in your own skin, so to say. And when you become uneasy in your own skin, well, at the beginning you notice it as frustrations, as stress, as discomfort, as unhappiness. And let's say you allow this to continue, suppressing it. You suppress it, you say, well, but my neighbor says this and my mother says that and the magazine says whatsoever. Over time, and I know this, I work with many people with this. This is part of the cause of you grief and the cause of myself in the past. And over time, that uneasiness become dis-ease, which is physical disease, physical illness, actually. And that's where you got your, now not every single case, but a lot of the cases of depressions and anxiety and even actual physical illness, like things such as like irritable bowel syndromes and symptoms of allergies. I actually know a gentleman, I know him personally, who at some point in his life, this is about 10-15 years ago, he started getting anaphylactic syndrome. And he has allergic reaction, an allergic reaction where his lung would just close down and he stopped breathing. And this person has 2 young children and a wife. He has a family, and he's the breadwinner of the family. And so, but he will have this just an allergic reaction to seemingly nothing, nobody. He has doctors from the whole nation in the United States trying to find out why he has this allergic reaction that come out of the blue, just like that. And it's happening more. It was initially here and there, and it happening more and more and more frequent, to the point that it happened multiple times a week. Can you imagine? He has to sleep with this epinephrine injection by him, because he will wake up in the middle of the night, could not breathe, and he need to give himself a shot immediately. And because with multiple help, he discovered that at some point he says, after he started working with the same mentor with the one I have, Mary Morrissey, he's discovered that every time he goes to work, he loves what he's doing, but every time he goes into his workplace, he feel as if he checked his soul out on the door. And he walked in and he was not allowed to, as Carol said, to express his word. They did not want to listen to him, even though he is in management and skillful and so forth. And he basically not allowed to express his value, his life, his himself, and his principle, and everything. And so, to save his life, he quit his job, and he actually created his own business and become very successful, listening to his heart, to what it is his principle and what is his values. And to the point, just within a matter of a couple years, the company whom he used to work for actually hired him, paying the same amount for about a tenth of the amount of time that he used to put in there. And he's doing much better. Tony no longer has this anaphylactic problem since then, actually. But when you are not listening to you're not living by your principle, when you're not listening to your heart and expressing what your heart and life calling you, then that's actually you can eventually become having a disease. I was an antidepressant. I was diagnosed with about 3 or 4 different physical illness that whom the doctor said it's absolutely uncurable. One of them being on antidepressants for some 20 plus years. And thankfully, that was quite a few years ago now when I finally listened to my heart and what my heart called and want me to express.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Bigot. I think it is very, very important to actually to live by your own principles and to actually listen to your heart the way you are saying. I hope our audience that are watching, they will just take this on board and create their own principles, because for me, basically, I create my own principles, and when those principles are violated, I have to sit down with myself and find out why this person has behaved the way they are behaving, and what did I contribute to all this, because sometimes you'll be surprised how much you contribute to other people's reaction. It's you, like as Dr. Bigot, your character. If you are someone who has a character, who likes taking opportunities, who likes to succeed, who wants basically to follow your dreams and be who you want to be, you could actually trigger somebody to actually hate you, but if you don't know, you can actually react to that. But if you take the time and say, how did I behave in this way, and then you realize actually my success is intimidating this person, and just make sure that they know that you want them to succeed, and you want them, because some people, they don't know how to ask. Dr. Bigot, why are you succeeding? Can you give me the recipe? What are your principles? What are you using to be where you are? Some people, they don't know how to ask. So if you don't know, you react to that situation. But if you are somebody who has principles in place to say, I'm going to love you, even if you react to me, but I'm going to love you from the distance, because I don't want you to hurt me, and I don't want to, it's very, very important. So I'm going to come to you, Carol Ann. Why is it important to live by principles, in your own opinion?
I think what Dr. Brady was saying is really important, because if you don't live by them, it sets up a dissonance in your body, because you're saying these are my principles, and on the other hand, you're not acting by them. So there's complete, to say there's a dissonance going on there, which is like this in the body. and yes, that's what sets up ill health. And the other thing is, we don't listen to our bodies, because our bodies are telling us all the time. Our body is the last port of call for what's, showing up and what's here for us to listen to and to act on. So if we don't listen to it, it'll just get, stronger and stronger. But also, if you want people to believe you, then it's also important for you to live by your principles and recognize when you're not. And I know over the years, I started recognizing a few times where I said something has been really important to me, and then realize, I'm not doing that, wondering why things weren't working for me in that field. I remember once, many years ago, defining how I wanted a relationship to be, with like the man of my dreams, and I drew it all out. I wrote it out, and the cornerstone is he will be, my best friend. I didn't even define what a best friend was. It is being really clear and understanding where you're sort of not being that clear about it, but also where you're sort of blocking yourself from getting what it is you're really wanting. But also, with Oh, I think what's coming to me now is me allowing myself to have time to find my words and giving myself that time, but also demanding of that time. So when I don't get it, when people do cut in, I will now say, hang on a minute, I haven't finished, or, I'd like to, I'm just trying to find my words, or actually say how it is for me in that moment, because I'm very conscious of when people are not really listening. They're in their head, they're waiting to speak. And I find it takes my words away because I'm like this, I can feel their energy attempting to take over. And so it's just like, okay, let's just take a breath and give myself that time, or let them have their say, but then take it back again, without making them wrong. Because for a long, long time, I was always making them wrong. And that's where I would then get upset and uptight. And it's like, if they don't know what's going on for you, then you can't do anything about it and they can't change. So if you're really clear on how things are for you, what are your principles? What is it, is important to you, and why it's important to live by that, then you need to then express it and explain it, because then you get this lovely dance in a conversation. And I've always loved dancing. And when I heard that expression, dance in the conversation, I thought, oh, I love that, rather than a tussle. I'm talking, give me my time. It's like, no, let's just be with somebody. Okay, they're wanting to grab the conversation for a moment, but then just allow them that time and say, okay, well, actually, this doesn't work for me. I was still trying to say something. And actually, in you doing what you're doing just then, it took my words away, it took my breath away, and it's really uncomfortable for me. And then just allow that to sit and just then move forward. But I had to do that for myself. So that's why it's important to live by your own principles. Work with yourself first, because then it gives other people permission to live by that as well, or know who you are, and give you that space to live by them. It also, if you're attempting to build a community, it allows for harmony within that community if you live by those principles. And that's what's the word? That's your expectations, and you make sure that those expectations are out there, then you'll attract those same people with those principles. And if you uphold them, people will feel comfortable to be with you. I know how uncomfortable I feel when somebody says this is how they want to wait something to be, and then all of a sudden it changes, and I'm going, that's not comfortable. You just said this and now you're saying that, or you're doing this, and I don't really feel comfortable around that community anymore, or that person. So that's why it's really important to live by your own principles, but also acknowledge when you don't, and to realign yourself. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Carol. And I like it when you say it is very, very important to. I get confused as well when somebody tells me, no, sir, this is what I'm going to do and this. And I can understand if the changes are being made, if things are not going, the plan has not gone accordingly. But
yeah,
I get confused when first time I met someone, I meet them, they are really nice to me, and then the next thing they are all different. If I'm seeing different personalities, I get confused as well. And also, when you were talking about when you were looking for love, and you had to you had to define, you didn't know how to define the friendship. What does, you're gonna look for somebody and they're gonna be your friend, and you didn't know how you didn't know how to
define it.
define Yes, that the word friendship, and I think I have done that before in my life, and it is very, very important when you are looking for somebody, whatever you want to do in life, for you to become that thing that you say you want. So then you'll be able to, if you are looking for, I always say to my clients, if you are looking for that the one, you have to be the one yourself. You cannot write all this character down, and if you are not that character, first you have to check your character first, and your principles, do they align with what you've written? And so I teach my clients to say, every list that you have written, you have to, it has to align with your principles. You have to be that person. Like some say, some women might say, I'm looking for a rich man. I don't want to live in poverty. So I always tell them that when you say I'm looking for a rich man, you have to understand the lifestyle. Do you understand the lifestyle that they are living? They travel around the world. Do you love traveling yourself? Would you support a man who is a billionaire who works around, who works 20, some men works, some people, women and men who are successful, they work long hours. Would you support them? Would you hold their hand? So I always make sure that what they are asking, they are aware with the consequences that comes along with what they want. And even with my children and my partner, my men, I always tell them that when I'm going away, I buy tickets with them. I go with my family and I say, you go do some shopping. I'm going to work. And that means no one is complaining because I understand, they understand my lifestyle. And I understand that if I neglect them, I'm going to lose them. So I go with them. So wherever I'm wanted, I tell people that I have my family. Do you want to buy me a ticket? You buy my family a ticket. They go and have fun. I go to work. When I'm finished, I have fun with my family. So that's how, what you are saying, those are my principles, that if you want me to come and work with you, or if I have to travel, I have my family. I'm buying a ticket for me and my family. Those are my principles. If I'm just going for a few days, I've got my own, is fine. But 1 week, 2 weeks, I need to be with my family. So that those are my principles that I have put in place. So thank you so much. What you were saying about the energy, I have a question for that as well, Dr. Bigger, because Carol Ann touched about when you don't live by principles, people will be coming in and sucking your energy. So I have a question. How do you deal with the energy vampires? People are just draining your energy.
Right.
You
Thank
put
you.
your principles in place, but there are some vampires that come and take your energy from you.
So there are people who are, who seems like they are energy vampires, because they just seems to be, sometimes they seems to challenge everything that you say, and so forth. But to me, it's, I have these tools I call the beach ball, the multicolor beach ball. I live fairly close to the beach in the United States. And so if you look at this, if you look at the beach ball, it's a multicolor beach ball. You can see it like that, multicolor. But let's say imagine instead of a small beach ball, you are standing in front of a huge beach ball, a giant beach ball, perhaps the size of a building, and you are standing right in front of the yellow one here. And I ask you to tell me one color that you are seeing, and you say this is yellow. It looked like a sunny a yellow sunny day, a yellow color, nice and bright. Now if somebody were to be standing on the opposite side of that yellow one, somebody is in the opposite side of you, where they are in front of the red one here, and I asked this person, I said, tell me what one thing that you are seeing right now. They said, everything is red. Everything is red. Everything is, if you were to put the color in, or in emotions, for instance, the person's yellow said everything is bright and wonderful and life is just so beautiful and sunny. And this one might say, well, everything is a challenge, in life. Everything is upsetting and frustrating right now. And so, is either of you correct or incorrect? No, you both correct actually. Neither is incorrect. You are, all you can see in front of you is yellow. You perhaps wear a sunny bright glasses, so to say, and this person, all they can see in front of them is red. And both of you at the same time is actually correct, because if you were to be able to step back from this yellow that's in front of your face, go and then go, let's say, to a higher ground, very soon you see that everything is actually part of a beautiful multicolor beach ball, which is, in an analogy, it's part of a beautiful, just different universe of all different color. And so the persons who appears as an energy vampire to me, and there are people that sometimes very much feel that way. It's perhaps they're just seeing a different color of that beach ball, and therefore they believe in that very strongly. It might even be part of their principle. They believe in that very strongly, perhaps, or at least at this moment, that's all they can see. And but at the same time, it's completely different than yours. And if you allow this person with whatever the different color but yellow to to um to continue to go, and allow their opinions and thoughts to continue to influence you, then it will be draining for you. And so back to everything, back to ourselves, right? And so, and the energy vampire, yes, and there are people that seems to always not in alignment with us, but it is completely actually up to us, for us, for you to do two things. The first is to say, okay, am I trying to have somebody else see things the way I'm seeing things? Well, perhaps they're seeing it differently, but it doesn't make them wrong. It's just part of a whole beautiful multicolored pictures of life and the universe. That's one thing. Now, if somebody continuously and constantly be seeing things differently than you, and you start finding this person's draining, and you are staying strong to your principles, then perhaps we're not meant to be friend with every single person and every single thing in the universe. And some people are meant to not be together. Some people are meant to interact in one particular field of life and not everything else is. And so to be able to let it go, to let go and say, okay, they're seeing things differently. Somebody in my family member, somebody in my family, if you've known me long enough, you might notice this, Numsa. In general, people said I'm a very positive person, and that's probably a little bit underestimating even. So I tend to be very positive, and I see the glass. I see the glass, the glass is the glass, but I see whether the glass half full or half empty. I see it refillable with sparkling water if you choose to refill it with sparkling water. Now, somebody very close in my family, my own family, very close member, tend to see the glass half empty, and what's in the glass is murky water. And so over time, you said, okay, we see things very differently. What running in me is the wonderful, beautiful, sunny yellow color, and what running in this person's is something that is always red. And yes, we interact. Yes, we interact to a degree, but it does not mean you have to live with this, and it does not mean you have to be with each other all the time, because we're meant to be different. And so when there is an energy vampire, what seems to be energy vampire, first of all, remember that sometimes we actually wanting them to be like us while they are completely entitled to be who they are. And when we're able to let that go, it will become less draining for us. And then for some people, they actually continue going after you, so to say, or at least how that feels. Then we might want to set boundaries and say, you know what, let's just come together in these particular matters, but not everything all the time, because we're so different and we're not in alignment. And it does not mean we have to be, and to let it go, and to set boundaries and let go of these persons to a point that it is not draining you anymore.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Biget. Basically, what Dr. Biget is saying is you cannot change other people. You can only change yourself. And sometimes we all see life different. We all see things different. What has helped me basically is to change how I see things. I have to tell myself that the world is a beautiful place. And if someone is doing something, or they are creating something, or they're doing something, even if it's not big, is basically as a help to me, that when I actually show that person that what they're doing is value, it has value. And for me to tell myself that even someone is speaking to me about their dreams, I have to understand that there's no small dreams, there's no big dreams. A dream is a dream. All it needs is a support. Because when someone comes to you and they tell you about their dream, this is what I'm doing, and you support them. If that dream is small, that energy you just given to them, they'll come back next time with a bigger one. They will say, thank you for your support and your words, what you said. I went home, I had thought about this, I thought about this, but now I think I've got bigger goals. And I think that is a gift that you cannot change. And having you guys speakers in this talk show with a different personality is actually, I'm learning more than you guys. I can tell you the secret. I'm learning more than you guys, because when you actually speak, I take notes in my head and I take notes down. And every word that you speak, when you say a powerful word, I write it down. And when you are gone, I use that word to create something. And for me, that is something that no one can take away from me. You guys are coming here every day, you speak, you are adding value more than you realize. So thank you so much. How do you deal with the energy vampires, Carol Ann?
How do I deal with them? What I do is I look to myself, and there's two things I'll look at. Firstly, I can ask the question, well, what part of me has asked them to show up in this way?
Yeah.
So what can I learn from this? And then I work on myself and find that. And that way I can then forgive and let go. And there isn't that tussle, and I'm not making them wrong. Because as Dr. Bridget was saying, that is their perspective. That's how they are. And you are how you are. And it is when you have the tussle and you try and change them, or you're making them wrong, that creates even more problem. It's accepting it is as it is, or accepting it as it isn't, but then looking to yourself. And as hard as it can be sometimes, where to sort of say, well, what part of me is asking them to show up in this way? You're going, no. No, I can't possibly be doing that. When you stop and be with that question and allow yourself to find that part of you that is asking them to show up in that way, you then stop being a victim in that moment. You then become creator of the situation. And when you're creator of the situation, you can then recreate it, you know? And so, yeah, then I'll shift, I'll do some, as I say, work on myself, and things will then change. And they'll either just then drift away, or the whole conversation changes. They suddenly are not that energy vampire anymore, because all of a sudden I can see it from their perspective, and there isn't that fight. The other way I'll look at it, it depends what, you know, how sort of what, I guess I feel into myself and go, well, which question do I want to ask? The other way I look at it is, when was I being an energy vampire in this way? And look at, maybe there's a past life or there's ancestral, you know, energy going on here, and another clearing for me to do. But again, it depends on your own beliefs, on whether you believe in these sort of things, and if you're comfortable with asking questions like that. But again, that's another question that I have found myself really resisting. You know, when have I shown up like this? And I've gone, never, never. You know? And then I've sat with it again and gone, okay. And something has come to mind. I've just checked in, and it could be a younger me, or it even could be an ancestral thing, or you know, past life. Once I again found that, I can then work with that. You release it, change it. All of a sudden, again, everything changes. And that person who was being that energy vampire is no longer being an energy vampire in that way again, you know? And again, they'll either drift away out of your life, or your whole relationship with them changes, you know? And I found that over the years since I've been doing this work, some people have come in, created that situation, and then just gone. I've never heard from them again. You know, just like, oh, okay. Others have stayed and shown up in different ways, but the relationship has actually got stronger, you know. And so for me, that's how I deal with it, they say the term energy vampires. So it's being the creator and realizing that we create our own reality. We're not victims. But again, it's how you choose to see it. Which side do you want to see? Are you a victim, or are you a creator? Understanding that. And again, for me, that is one of my principles, and my value is I create my own reality, and therefore I can recreate it. I can shift and change how things are showing up for me. I don't need to go into, oh, poor me, you know, and sink into that depressed place, which I've been there. I've allowed it to happen, but being with it is different to being in it and of it. Do you get the difference? Being in it and of it, it consumes you. Whereas you can be with that depression, that heaviness, and just observe it until you can then resolve it. It's completely different. And you can then move out of it. Sometimes it takes a bit of time. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than you really want it to. But when you allow it, you know, yourself to be with that and move out through the other side, actually, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing what life then shows up for you, and who then shows up, and what opportunities show up. And when you look back, you can go, oh my goodness, this happened because that, and because that, and that's why I'm here now. And oh my goodness, what did I ask for all those years ago? That the universe gave me all this. And now I'm here, and now it's with me, you know? Yeah. So I like, for me, adventure is an important principle by which I live, you know, having fun and enjoying it and creating playfulness out of it. That's far more, that whatever that beautiful sound was.
Was it your phone, Dr. Bigett?
Doesn't matter what it was perfectly timely. I love things like that. There are no accidents. It's synchronicity, because it was like that. It brings joy to life, you know. Yeah.
I like adventure and playfulness. I don't do well with the seriousness, taking life too serious. I don't do well with that. that part.
Yeah.
Basically, I love the adventurous. I love being playful. And I basically love, like, when what you were saying, like, is just taking time to ask for what you want, and the universe, whatever your beliefs are, and understand why you're behaving that way. Is it ancestral thing or anything? Because our past, that's why we go to the doctors. Dr. Bigot, you're a doctor. When someone is sick, you start asking them questions about their past. Do you have this in your family? Do you have this in your family? And it doesn't happen like that. For me, I look at my family a lot, the background of my family. When I start behaving in a different way, I look at my behavior, and I ask questions as well to the older generation in my family. How was my great grandparents? How were they? What kind of principles did they live by? Their characters. And I love that. And every morning I like cleansing myself, basically, and doing praying, and basically just those are my principles, and just being me. It's nice to be you, living your own life. Dr. Bigot, what are your 5 principles? We are running out of time, but I can't leave without asking these questions. Your 5 principles, please, you live by.
Of course. So the five principles, or I call it my 5 core value. The first one is to be a person of increase. In other words, I bring increase to others as well as to myself. And then the second one is love, to act and live in and love is up to interpretations, but whatever that comes to me as a laughing actions at the time. And then the third one is fun. I love to have fun. I we all deserve to have fun, and so third one is fun, and then the fourth one is health is always very important for me, thankfully, right? Given what I do, so health is something that is this contributing to health. And so that's the fourth one, and then the fifth one is actually to be true to who you are, and to be true to and also allow other people, so to be true to myself, but also allow other people, and to be true to who they are.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What are your principles, Carol Ann? 5 principles?
5. Okay. The first one most strongly is actually being willing and open to learn from whatever life throws at you, but it is that willingness to learn, and being curious. That's another one. Family is important, because I believe that our family is actually who we have chosen to come in to give us our biggest lessons in life. They're also the ones we tend to go, no, I don't want to know them, because they challenge us so much at times. But I really believe that they are the ones we've chosen, who will give us our biggest lesson. And so family is important. What's that, 3? If I said it, did I say adventure?
No.
No, that's why it's coming to my head. It's like adventure, having fun and having an adventure, thinking of life as an adventure, and just being willing to look on the brighter side of it, without necessarily dismissing the darker side, because whatever's there is there, but it's just, let's focus on brightening it, bringing light into the world. And I think that is my other key principle, which just come up as I say it. It is allowing for the light to come in, and for for us to be with this expansion of consciousness, which is impacting our health. So health is an important one as well, but it is that listening of the body. So I think I've said a few more than 5 there, but I think they're all entwined.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mine is love, forgiveness, beliefs, and family, and having the ability and abundance, authenticity. I love family. Family is important to me, basically, like what Carol was saying, and you, Dr. Bigot. Love, basically, is my biggest principle. And forgiveness. I used to take people very, very serious. Like when you were talking about the energy, when someone comes to me, they give me attitude. 10 years ago, I used to take it very, very serious. And actually, I'll go along and react to it. But then as you start working on yourself, you realize that actually that person, they don't have to cause reaction to you. You're allowing that reaction to happen. So I don't anymore. So I just look at them and I'm like, that's a crazy one. And that's how I look at things. Honestly, I laugh now. I basically just laugh when someone is giving me an attitude, and then I laugh in my heart. And then I have to find out why they're behaving the way. Because some people, they are not good with words. So if they are frustrated with themselves, they'll take it on you. So then I have to find out, is everything okay at home, or with the business, or with work? Some people, when they're going through something, they don't know how to say it. And then that's when the truth will come out and say, no, things are not okay. But if you don't know, you will react to somebody else's problem without you knowing. And it is important to acknowledge your principles, your character, who you are as a person. So thank you so much to all this, our audience that are watching. If you want to connect with the Dr. Bigot, if you want to connect with Carol Ann, you can connect with them through Nkositalkshows. And there is an email on the banner. If you want to contact the speakers, you can actually email and contact them. And is there anything, Dr. Bigot, you like to leave with our audience, a short message?
Yes, I would say if I have one short message in this topic is don't be afraid to be who you are. You are brilliant and beautiful, and be who you are.
Thank you. Carol Ann, anything you want to leave with our audience?
One quote that popped up just now as you were talking, Nomsa, was the one who is the most flexible dominates the conversation. And I think that's the key here, is being flexible, being willing to look at the person's perspective, but you're still grounded in your own principles, you know? Yeah, so, yeah, that's it, I think.
Thank you so much, everyone. Live with grace, everyone. We'll see you next week. I will see you on Sunday, my love talk show, my love talk. So love you guys. Live with grace.